We'll continue with that ECG, the topic of ECG. ECG, the full form of ECG is electrocardiogram. It is a graphical representation of the electrical potentiality or electrical activity that is developing inside the cardiac muscles. And this ECG is consisting of the waves and intervals are being considered. And for this ECG, to extract this ECG, first of all, we have used about 3 electrodes are being used, or 3 leads are being used. The 3 leads are being attached to the right and the left wrist and to the left ankle. So initially only 3 leads are being used. The 3 leads. These 3 leads are attached to the right wrist, to the left wrist, and the third one is to the left ankle. These leads are attached to these structures, the parts of the body. Later on, nowadays, for better to detect the electrical potentiality in a better manner, now we are using many leads are being used nowadays. Now, this is consisting of different waves. The ECG is consisting of different waves are being present, which we call it as P wave, Q, R, S complex, and the T wave. The number of QRS complexes, the number of QRS complex, number of QRS complexes in 1 minute is equal to the number of heartbeats that occur in 1 minute. So the number of QRS complexes occurring in 1 minute is equal to the heartbeat rate of this. From this ECG, we can give that inference. Now, this ECG, the P wave is indicating atrial depolarization. That means atria are undergoing contraction. The beginning of the Q wave indicates that the ventricular depolarization or contraction. The end of T wave indicates the end of systole, ventricular systole. Now, let us learn about the defects that are occurring in the ECG by observing the ECG. By observing the ECG, we are going to learn about the defects that are occurring in the heart. So, the first one. In the yesterday class, we have learned about we have started these defects, but couldn't because so extended P wave indicates atrial enlargement. So the first one, we are going to learn about the abnormalities or abnormalities of this ECG. We are going to learn about. The first one is extended P wave. Extended P wave. This indicates atrial enlargement. Atrial enlargement. Atria subjected for enlargement. Atrial enlargement is exhibited by this P wave, enlarged P wave. Next. Then coming next is extended Q wave. This is the first one. The second, extended Q wave. Extended Q wave indicates myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction is indicated by this extended Q wave. So extended Q wave, myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction, it is represented by extended Q wave. Okay, next we'll learn about the next one. The third one. So extended Q wave is myocardial infarction. Now come next is extended R wave. Extended R wave. This is the third one. Extended R wave is going to give us the indication of ventricular enlargement. Ventricular enlargement. Ventricular enlargement. Ventricular enlargement is represented by extended R wave. Next, the tall T wave indicates hyperkalemia. The tall T wave is indicating hyperkalemia. Hyperkalemia, and there is a decrease in a heartbeat rate. Heartbeat rate decreases. Hyperkalemia, this is a increase in potassium ions. Increase in the potassium ions level is called as the taller T wave. If the T wave is tall, we indicate that it is a hyperkalemia. Next, if the T wave is small, flat, inverted. The fifth one, if the T wave is small, flat, or inverted, this indicates it is indication of hypokalemia. So this hypokalemia, this hyperkalemia. If the T wave is very much a tall T wave, it is a hyperkalemia. If it is a small, flat, or inverted, we call it as hypokalemia. Hypokalemia. Next. Well, now more next one. Variations. Variations and duration. Variations in the duration, amplitude and morphology. Variation. The sixth one. Variations in QRS complex. In QRS complex. What are those variations? They are going to vary in the duration. Variations like the duration, amplitude, duration, the amplitude, and morphology. Of this QRS complex. This indicates that there is blockage in bundle of His. There is blockage occurring in the bundle of His. That means the impulse is not being transmitted properly. Impulse transmission does not occur. That is, the action potential does not travel to the ventricles because of the blockage in the bundle of His. Then coming to the next, prolonged PR interval. So the next one is prolonged PR interval. Prolonged PR interval. Prolonged PR interval is indicating that there is defectiveness in the transmission of impulse from SA node to AV node. Defectiveness in the impulse conduction from SA node to AV node. There is a defectiveness that is occurring in the transmission of impulse from SA node to AV node. That is been identified by the prolonged PR interval. Prolonged PR interval. If and whenever there is a defectiveness here, when the impulse conduction is it is a defectiveness in transmission of the impulse. So what happens is heartbeat rate decreases. This is called as bradycardia. It is representing this bradycardia. Prolonged PR interval indicates the condition of bradycardia. If a PR interval is short, PR interval is short. This indicates tachycardia, in which the heartbeat rate increases. Increase in the HBR, that is heartbeat rate increase. Heartbeat rate is going to increase in this condition. Then next one, prolonged QT interval. Prolonged QT interval. Prolonged QT interval. This indicates myocardial infraction. Myocardial infraction. So myocardial infarction is it is been identified by prolonged QT interval and also by extended Q wave. Then comes the next last and the last. If this is a prolonged QT interval, myocardial infarction. If this is the 10th one. If a shortened QT interval, QT interval is shortened, then that is indicating hypocalcemic condition. It is indicating hypocalcemia. Indicating hypocalcemia. Hypocalcemia. That means I'm writing it here. I'm just modifying. So shortened QT interval indicates hypocalcemia. Hypocalcemia. And here prolonged QT interval, myocardial infarction, and also hypothyroidism. This is the inferences that are being obtained. So these are the inferences that are obtained from this ECG. Okay. So we can go for this once again. We can read this once again. We are going to get the info idea about this. So now, let us have a note of this once again. So in the ECG, we are going to have the different waves and segments have been present. Now, if there is extended P wave, then we call it as atrial enlargement. That means atria are subjected for enlargement. Extended Q wave indicates myocardial infarction. Extended R wave indicates ventricular enlargement. Ventricular enlargement is occurring. And then come next. And a tall T wave, if the T wave is a tall T wave, it indicates hyperkalemia. In which there is increase in the potassium levels and also decrease in the heartbeat rate. If the T wave is becoming taller, that indicates that there is a increase in potassium ions and there is decrease in heartbeat rate. Then if the T wave is small, flat and inverted, if the T wave is small, flat and inverted, we call that condition as hypokalemia. Variations that occur in the QRS complex. What are those variations? The variations can occur in the duration, amplitude and morphology of the QRS complex. This indicates that there is a defectiveness occurring in the impulse conduction in the bundle of His. That we can say that there is a blockage in a bundle of His. That blockage is responsible for non-transmission of the impulse from the bundle of His to Purkinje fibers. As a result, the ventricular contraction will be in a defective manner. Then comes next is a prolonged PR interval. If there is a prolonged PR interval, there is a delayed conduction of impulse of action potential from SA node to AV node. That means the heart, the impulses are being sent in a very slow manner. The impulses are being transmitted in a slow manner from the SA node to AV node. As a result, we can say that the heartbeat rate decreases. If there is a decrease in heartbeat rate, we call that condition as bradycardia. Bradycardia, decrease in the heartbeat rate. Then comes next. PR interval is short. The PR interval is short. It indicates a tachycardia. Tachycardia means the heartbeat rate increases. The number of beats per minute will be nearly 100, more than 100 per minute. Tachycardia. That means PR interval is short. That means duration becomes short. If PR interval is prolonged, then the heartbeat is slow, which we call as bradycardia. If PR interval is short, it is called as tachycardia. Tachycardia. Then next, prolonged QT interval. If the QT interval is prolonged, then we call as myocardial infraction. And or also we can also indicate that the patient is suffering from hypothyroidism. Infarction. Then shortened QT interval. If the QT interval is prolonged, hypothyroidism or myocardial infarction. If QT interval is short, then it is hypercalcemia. Hypercalcemia means there is increase in the calcium level in the body. Increase in calcium level in the body is represented by hypocalcemia. So these are the various defectiveness that are exhibited by the or by observing the ECG, we can identify these defectiveness that are occurred. So defectiveness is of the heart is been indicated by this manner, by observing the ECG. Who is considered as the father of ECG? Einthoven. And Hoven is considered father of the electrocardiography. The machine that is used is called as electrocardiography, and the graphical representation is called as electrocardiogram. Okay, this is regarding this ECG. And we also sometimes we are going to learn about this ECG is also called as EKG. ECG, or it is also called as EKG also. So I'm just marking it out. Perhaps you have copied it down. So ECG, or is also called as EKG, electrocardiogram. The letter K that is differing in ECG is British English and EKG is American English. In that way manner, we are going to differentiate it. ECG and EKG is the same. C stands for cardia and K also stands for cardia. KRDIA, it is represented cardia. K. It is also written as cardia. And this is cardia. That is slightly differs in the English literature, that's all. There is a difference in the pronunciation behind a literature word, but both the meaning is the same. Okay? Then, now let us learn about certain disorders concerned with blood vascular system. So the disorders concerned with blood vascular system. Disorders concerned with the blood vascular system. Disorders with blood. The heart is undergoing pumping. There will be a pressure. The pressure that is occurring when a heart ventricle contracts is called as systolic pressure. Usually, the heart is contracting. At the time of contract, the blood comes out with certain pressure, which is called as systolic pressure. Systolic pressure. Usually, the systolic pressure of a healthy person is about 120 mm of mercury. It is about 120 mm of mercury of Hg pressure. When the heart is undergoing a diastole, when the heart is dilating, the diastolic pressure is about 80 mm of mercury. 80 mm of mercury is diastolic pressure. And this pressure this systolic and diastolic pressures they are variable with respect to age. Now, so we represent this as 120 by 80, which is normal. Or this can be normal up to now. This normal condition, as age is going to proceed, it can vary up to 140 by 90. That is the maximum limit. Beyond this 140 by 90, if it is above this condition, then we call it as hypertension, or we call it as a BP, blood pressure. The blood pressure or hypertension is the value of this hypertension is, it could be beyond if the systolic by diastolic pressure extends beyond 140 by 90. If it is going to extend beyond 140 by 90, then we call it as hypertension. We call it as hypertension. Because the value is beyond, if the value is systolic by diastolic pressure extends beyond 140 by 90, then we call it as hypertension. From 120 to 80, it is normal. Up to 140 by 90 is normal, we consider it. If it is beyond 140 by 90, then it is considered hypertension. There are several conditions responsible for this hypertension. And it also increases as the age increases. So what is the the threshold value of hypertension, it is about 140/90 is considered to be the high blood pressure value. Okay, next. And this blood pressure is calculated by a device called as sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer is the device meant for calculating the blood pressure. So the blood pressure is being detected by sphygmomanometer. Okay, that's regarding the first disorder called as hypertension. So the first disorder, hypertension, the value of a systolic by diastolic pressure, if it is exceeding beyond 140/90, then we can call it as what condition? Hypertension. Next is the next disorder. What we are learning is coronary and arterial disease. Coronary, arterial disease, represented as CAD. Coronary arterial disease, CAD. Now usually, first of all, we learn it as atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis. This is a blood vessel. Let us consider a coronary artery. Coronary artery. Coronary artery is an artery which carries blood to. It carries blood to the coronary artery carries blood to the muscles of the heart. In this coronary artery, the walls of the coronary artery sometimes is being deposited with the fat molecules. It could be made up of cholesterol, or certain calcium salts, or any fibrous tissue is going to develop. This we call it as a plaque is formed. A plaque. A plaque is formed in the coronary artery. When a plaque is formed in the coronary artery, what happens? The flow of blood. There is a flow of blood in the coronary artery. Decreased blood flow in the coronary artery because of the formation of a plaque is called as atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is a plaque formation occurring in the coronary artery. Now, the other word, arteriosclerosis. Slight difference. Atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis. Here also, this is an artery. An artery other than coronary artery. An artery other than coronary artery. Now here the plaque is formed. This is the plaque that has been formed. Plaque. Now tell me, where did that plaque has been formed? That a plaque is formed in an artery other than coronary artery. It can be formed in any part of the body. If a plaque made up of cholesterol, calcium salts, and fibrous tissue is been occurring, then we call it as arteriosclerosis. So there is a difference between the position atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis. Okay. Now, this coronary arterial disease is a concern with it is occurring because of formation of plaque in which blood vessel? Coronary artery. If coronary artery is being blocked by the formation of a plaque inside it, then it results in a disorder called as coronary arterial disease or coronary artery disease, which we call as CAD. So, now what happens? So remember, there is a slight difference between atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis is the plaque formation occurring in other arteries. We are not, for regarding this CAD, we are not going to consider this. Now, whenever there is a flow of blood, what happens? There will be reduced blood flow. Reduced blood flow. Whenever the blood flow is been reduced, what happens? The food and oxygen supply, it also decreases. So whenever there is a reduced blood flow is called as ischemia. It results in ischemia. Myocardial ischemia. Ischemia means reduced blood supply and oxygen supply. Reduced blood flow and reduced oxygen supply to the muscles of the heart. So what is the result? Because of the formation of atherosclerosis, there is reduced blood flow, which we call it as ischemia or myocardial ischemia. Because of this reduced blood flow and oxygen supply, this ischemia is going to result in the myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction is going to occur, which is represented by MI, in which the muscle cells, the cardiac muscle cells are going to die. Cardiac muscle cells are going to die, which you call as myocardial infarction. So once again, coronary arterial disease or artery disease, it is a disorder where there is the formation of a plaque. The plaque is been formed by the deposition of cholesterol or calcium salts or development of any fibrous tissue on the inner surface of the blood vessel, which carry blood to the muscles of the heart. As that plaque is occurring, what happens to the diameter of the blood vessels at that site? Decrease. See, this will be the diameter. There is a, that means the blood vessel is becoming narrower. Initially, this is the diameter, but now here the diameter has decreased. So there is a decreased blood supply. Whenever there is a decrease in the blood supply, then what happens? Whenever there is decrease in the blood supply, it results in the myocardial ischemia. Blood supply is decreased, so that oxygen supply also decreases. That leads to myocardial ischemia. Because if this myocardial ischemia has been prolongedly occurring, the cardiac muscle cells die, and that death of this myocardial cells we call as myocardial infarction. Okay. So all this, if it is occurring in the block is occurring in the coronary artery, we call as coronary arterial disease. Then how is it been, how this has been rectified? Occurrence of blocks is being detected by. So the occurrence of blocks in the coronary artery is detected by angiogram, coronary angiogram, coronary angiogram. We are going to perform the angiogram, coronary angiogram. So the defects of occurrence of these plaques has been detected by coronary angiogram. So that we can detect the occurrence of plaques. Whenever this plaque is being identified, let us find out. This is the coronary artery. And these are the branches of this. Okay. Now, let us consider the branches. Now, if this is the block that is occurring, if this is the block, it has been occurring. A block has occurred, so that blood supply has been reduced. Now, what we do, we identify it by performing coronary angiogram. So now, what we do is we are going to take a bypass. Take a blood vessel from our body and connect that blood vessel to this arm. We are going to connect that blood vessel to this arm. So we are connecting this blood vessel. So the blood cannot flow in this direction. So we are bypassing this blood flow. In the same manner, here also we are going to bypass. Here also we are going to bypass the flow of blood. By bypassing that flow of blood, we can again restore the normal blood supply to these blood vessels. This is called as CABG, coronary artery bypass graft. This is called as a graft. Coronary artery bypass graft, which we call as a bypass surgery. Bypass surgery. Bypass surgery. So we are going to supply the blood. Here this block. So this is the block. So blood cannot flow forwards. Now you may get out. So how we can make a route like this. The route is being made. Graft is being made. So here the number of grafts that are used are, we have used 3 grafts are there. So that we have restored the blood supply to the heart muscles. Such a kind of disorder is called as coronary arterial disease, and it has been modified by performing bypass surgery. Clear? So reduced blood flow is leading to the condition called as myocardial ischemia. Because of this myocardial ischemia, there is a blood and oxygen supply decreases. Okay, such a kind of disorder we call it as a coronary arterial disease. And these blocks are being identified by observing, by performing angiogram. Okay, is it clear? This regarding this. Okay, and we'll continue. So this is the disorder, and the other disorder will continue next class. Okay, thank you, students. We'll continue in the next class tomorrow. Thank you.